I'd like to call the meeting to order for December 10th, 2024. Would you please rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Please join in Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Roll call.
Trustee Sheets.
Here.
Trustee Hunter.
Here.
Trustee Good.
Here. Move on to visitors. Is Hannah on?
Hannah is not on at the moment.
Okay. We'll move on to the minutes. Paula, do you have a financial report you want to get?
Okay. The list of bills for tonight, there was 20 for $13,173.96. In the last 2 weeks, we've had a payroll gross was $49,978.38. IRS was paid $8,926.86. CME for the HSA payroll deposits was $785. Aetna for medical insurance premiums was $28,054.98. Pension payments for police and fire was $38,139.13. PERS, there's two different ones. One was $3,240.43. The second one was $1,666.70. There was a payment made to BWC on toward our 2025 costs was $3,167.90. Deposits paid to deferred comp $1,330. And on that BWC, I have they're projecting our premium. It's 30-some thousand, and if we pay it by January 3rd, we'll save 2%. So, but they go ahead and schedule a payment before they ever put it on the web, the entire amount. So I always make the initial payment and then I'll subtract it out if the board's in agreement to go ahead and pay that.
Yes, 2% is 2%. Okay. I will make a motion to pay our expenditures. Do I have a second? I'll second. Roll call.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes. Okay, on to departments. I have not heard from our deputy, so I'm assuming he is out of town at a meeting, usually what happens. So we'll go on to road department. Robert?
Oh, I can't remember what day it was, but it was pretty windy, so we had to go around and clean up a couple of places where trees had went down. We still have to terribly clean up the one there in Georgesville. Just putting the finishing touches on some older projects, just bits and pieces here and there. Equipment maintenance. We had one burial, and then I got the updated salt prices for the 2024-2025 snow and ice season. Rock salt was the main thing we used. It stayed the same at $66.74 a ton. The salt brine is 19 cents a gallon, which went up 2 cents. Then the only other product we use, and that's only in severe situations of extreme ice, is liquid calcium chloride, and that is 80 cents a gallon, and it's remained unchanged from last year as well. That's all I have for now.
Thank you for helping set up Trees Across America.
Oh, no problem.
You actually, every year now, it seems like you get a little more
Yeah,
work to do.
got to get a little more involved.
And thank you. That's appreciated.
You're welcome.
Okay. Chief Whiting, Fire Department.
Yep, medic apparatus wise, medic 231 still bronze. We had our apparatus, been sprayed with an underbody rust protection. We do that annually to extend the life of it. On the tanker, we had an airline rupture that was replaced. On engine 231, we had a coolant line rupture over the weekend, which had to be replaced. Had some vehicle maintenance done on my issue, and there's maintenance issue. The mechanics keeping an eye on that. Equipment, we're going to purchase 2 AEDs for 2 vehicles utilizing grant money. And we'll do that by the end of the year. We'll have some updates once we get the final cost for that. We ordered a new cold water exposure suit to replace a suit that was leaking and damaged and unable to be repaired. Station wise, we've done some miscellaneous painting, drywall, just clean the place up. And then bathroom, we're still looking for contractors to access and bid on the project from a community risk reduction area. We've done numerous building inspections and working with some outside agencies that are requesting information on some buildings in the township. Billing wise, we're still currently working on the reporting to the feds, and that required date's May 31st. So I'll just probably leave that open until we get that completely done and get that finally done. We applied for $1,000 grant from Otarma for equipment. And I think there's, let's see, Paul had sent some things out about volunteer firefighter dependency fund. I know we'll need to fill that the first of the year. So far, for the month of November, we ended up with 85 runs that we had over the whole month, and I didn't get a chance to see how many transports we had. And the only other thing I don't have on here are high health, are where we do our drug testing. We're still delinquent on that, and we sent 2 people to be drug tested for employment, and we're unable to do that. And they said that we've still been delinquent since June, and we'll have to pay that bill. I don't have a final bill. I requested that from them today because I just found out about it today, and they have not sent that to me. I know we had an older bill that was like for $1,500, and I don't know how current that is, but that's the last bill that I saw. It was for $1,475. So.
Okay, the only thing I know about that is last meeting, you gave me a bill from Ohio Health. It was $140 and it was paid last meeting. And it showed that as the balance. There was a bill that they kept saying was outstanding, but it had 800 and some charges on it from a person that is not one of our employees. I have no idea who that is.
Which I pointed that out to you, but I'm just passing on what I got from Ohio Health because they refused to do any more testing of our employees till our account is square.
Well, like I said, I don't obviously have it with me, but you guys paid it. Whatever last invoice I got from them, it actually showed it was showing at the top where there had been a credit to that account. And then it was showing, I think it was $140, and there was a check made and it was paid. So I don't know.
Their billing is absolutely terrible. It's really hard to keep track of because if you haven't paid one, by the time they send another, then they add those people to the next invoice, but it's on a different number and.
Yeah, they keep changing the invoice numbers, so it's very hard to track.
It is very hard to track, and I've complained to as many people as I could up there, and I got an email the other day saying that they are going to change the way they bill. Because I was actually threatening to go somewhere else over it. So I wouldn't be too sure that they're owed anything. I don't know if they know whether they're owed.
Well, and I don't know either, but we can't get our employees
Sure.
tested for anything, so, which is an issue. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. I've sent them emails and made phone calls today and have not heard anything back.
Can you get the chief a copy of that invoice?
Mhm.
And if you want, I'll call.
Okay, well, I'm gonna wait and see if I hear something tomorrow, because you call a number and they say, well, best thing to do is send an email response.
And so
Yeah.
I left a message and I sent a response saying, hey, I need this immediately if this is an issue. So,
Remind me if you need to tomorrow and I can get you a couple contacts I have.
okay,
Did you call Chris Steph?
yeah,
Okay, I was gonna say, she usually gets right back to you,
Yep.
so.
now I called her, but I had to go through billing to
Hmm,
get what I need.
Okay.
You could call them and give them a double whammy.
Yeah.
As far as I know, we're all paid up with Ohio, so.
All right, anything else?
Nope, that's all I have.
Any old business? A new business. The HSA for 2025. And I have a copy out of the union contract that says let's see, HSAs shall be funded annually by the township with $2,000 for an individual, $4,000 for a family coverage on January 1 of each year. That's in section 26.4. So to stay ahead of the game, I have a resolution I want to read. Resolution 81 to transfer $54,000 from regular checking to the HSA account to fund the 15 Pleasant Township employee accounts who were enrolled in the township insurance program according to individual and family plans and deposited in said accounts by January 1, 2025. To save Paula the hassle like last time of sending the 3 different deposits on 3 different days, if you have the check ready by our next meeting, either I'll take it there or the chief can take it there, whichever's the.
Okay, well, I actually well, I didn't speak with them, but via email, and ask about that after the chief had mentioned that they come out and pick it up. They do have a person who will come pick it up, but only do it quarterly or once annually. So they won't, like where we're doing it, the payroll deductions, and we have those checks going, they won't come out and get those. But she said all I have to do is let her know.
Okay,
And even the payroll deduction,
It's just,
even the payroll deduction, I'll take them down. I don't care. Because we got guys that still haven't got that money taken out of their accounts and it's not showing up in their HSA. So I will gladly take it down there. So our
Okay,
members.
all the payments have been scheduled. But it's just like the first payment, I have no idea why this happens once in a while, but when I schedule the payment at the bank, I've been doing it the day after payroll. So I get on the computer, I schedule the payment. Fifth Third will only let you schedule it out. It has to be like almost about a week. They give it a delivery date to CME. So I get, I've been copying from the computer when I make the payment or schedule the payment. And then on the scheduled delivery date, Fifth Third sends me a confirmation email that it's been delivered. And then I don't know what's happening between that delivery date and when CME gets it put into there, but then there's a delay from Fifth Third for a week from the time I schedule it to the time it's supposed to get to CME. But then there's been also a fairly large lag between when supposedly it got to Fifth or CME and then when CME puts it into the account. The first deposit for October, which at that time it was just you and I, on that deposit, and it didn't go through. It wasn't, I can only check my account. I can't check anybody else's account. So that checking my account's the only way I know that it's gone into CME, has put it into the accounts. And I eventually asked her about it and she said they didn't have it, but then they got it like on the 20th, apparently it got deposited at CME because it showed up on Fifth Third bank account as being cleared the bank on the 20th. Then on the 21st, for whatever reason, it got returned to Fifth Third. And then when I talked to Jessica at CME, she said it got returned because it didn't have a signature on it. But the copy she gave me, it says it's imprinted on their signature on file. She said Fifth Third took it back, but I don't know how Fifth Third takes their check back. I would think CME is returning it to the bank. When I talked to Fifth Third, what they've told me is once I schedule it, they send it out, and then until they get something back from CME, they have no way of knowing what's going on with it. So I don't know where the problem is, but it's not with me because I have made it, I have been scheduling it the day after payroll. Obviously, I don't want to schedule a payment to go out to somebody's private account until it's came out of their check. But I have been scheduling that. I've got the paperwork, they're dated, whatever. I can show you where I schedule it. So like I said,
That's why I thought if you write one check,
right,
do you want them to come out and get it, or I'll take it? I'm
okay,
gonna be right down there Monday,
okay.
or Chief
Well,
can
when you're
take it
saying Monday,
this Monday. Is
Well-
when I'll be down there, but I can go
oh,
anytime.
but okay. Because I didn't know we were doing this, so I didn't do a check for it, so. we
We'd
don't
have
check
to, yeah, we would have to come and
Okay,
sign it.
gotcha. All right,
If you want to do it that way, or I can do it
okay,
anytime, and because we're gonna have to reschedule our next meeting anyway,
Right.
so.
okay.
How do they know whose accounts to put money in? Is there like a spreadsheet or something that goes? along with it?
They, see, everybody had to open up their own
Right.
account. And so then CME sent me the information with all the account numbers. And then I have a sheet that I go down the list and put what amounts each person is supposed to get into their account.
Oh, okay.
And so I sent I do it electronically where they can actually pull the information, but then I also send a separate email with a copy of it to them. So they've got all the information.
Just wondering.
So that'll go along with the check, the
Mhm.
payment to them, and
Mhm.
hopefully we can get this to go smoothly.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a second to my resolution. Roll call?
Okay, hang on a minute. We got to start here. Okay, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Hunter,
Yes.
trustee Good.
Okay.
Well, and just for clarification, that's the 2025
Yes.
payment.
So once that is written, deposited, it's done for a whole year. Okay. And the next meeting is on Christmas Eve. So we need to reschedule that. I would assume nobody wants to come.
I would suggest we make it the following Monday on the 30th. And because the way the dates are falling on the calendar, we actually would have between the meeting on the 25th and then in January, the second Tuesday of the month, there would be like a 2-week in there. So this way, if we meet on the 30th, it'll kind of like split it up in the middle. If that's okay with everybody.
Good with that.
This would be just to sign checks and pay bills.
Yes. It'd be a shortened meeting to just sign checks and pay bills. No other business will be conducted.
7 people.
That's good with me, 7 p.m.
Okay.
Any other new business? I have one announcement. The Wreaths Across America is this Saturday, Oak Grove Cemetery at noon. Everybody is welcome to be there, and we have 200 wreaths. So that means we have close to 200 veterans. We have a few at our other 2 cemeteries, but most of those are at Oak Grove, and we'll have a short ceremony, and then everybody is welcome to pick up a wreath. And we'll have little flags on the graves that get a wreath. And you can just come, and it's a short but moving service, and you can put down one wreath if you want, you can put down 10, 20 if you want, 30 or 50.
Last year, there was a lot of people there. It went real fast.
Yeah,
Real
real
fast.
quick. So I encourage everybody to come to that. Any other announcements?
We actually have, the firefighters have their pancakes with Santa this weekend, starting at 9 o'clock at the school. 9 to noon, I believe. And everybody is welcome. Anybody in township is welcome. And Hannah's on, by the way.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Hi there.
We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday as well.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, pancakes with Santa by the firefighters, noon, or 9 to noon
9 to
on
noon, yeah.
Saturday. That's gonna cut into them coming to the ceremony.
I know it'll be tight, yeah.
Okay, Paula?
Okay, I had forwarded you an email from, it's actually from Otarma on their 2024 Legal Defense and Claim Payment Agreement and Governmental Property Agreement. I did print it out. It was like 250 pages, but I have it. I did receive an email from the chief today who said that he had looked at it and that everything was good to go. On the BWC, on their 2025 policy, which I already mentioned, but so I will go ahead and pay that, and the estimated cost is $38,030 for 2025. At last payroll, there was hours that were turned in for an employee that did not work, and one fireman's hours got turned in for a different fireman. So the fireman who originally was supposed to have been paid and wasn't, he has now been paid, and the firefighter who received funds when they should not have has paid that money back by check. So that's taken care of. Received a letter from the attorney on 2025 billing rates. I will copy you guys that letter and the resolution that goes with it, and you can do that at the next meeting. Okay, received a notice for our information on notice of a hearing at BWC on an injured worker that's scheduled for 12/19 at 2 o'clock. Received, it was in with my mail, so I'm not sure I'm gonna, it said from State Farm State Claims, said to address to the fire department, had the claim number, date of loss, May 21st, and just said per the notice that it's still being, the investigation's still being worked on, and they're required to notify every 45 days that it's being worked on if it hasn't been resolved. So I'm not sure what that claim is for, but
I guess for a medic.
back in May.
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Okay, I'd received an email from Anthony Sequila, who said that he had reviewed our Pleasant Township trustee meeting on November 26th, and listened to where the township was focusing on upgrading our network infrastructure. And I had just said that I would forward that to you guys and the department heads. I had sent you a copy of your worker compensation had for if our company needs to create or update our drug-free workplace program, and that information. The chief had already mentioned that we need to do that volunteer firefighter dependency fund. I think that's due like January, I think. Franklin County Commissioners had a meeting scheduled today. The Planning Commission has one scheduled tomorrow. The Board of Elections had a meeting yesterday. Just received from Ohio Insurance, Happy Thanksgiving email. Not sure. And then the rest of it is just like informational newsletters, the Township news, grassroots clipping, and educational events, legislative updates, that type of thing. Let me look at my list because I'd made a list, but you've already covered part of it. There is normally there are 26 payrolls a year. This year there's 27. So there is an extra payroll on the 20, I think it's December 31st, actually, it's the date.
For this year or for 25?
This year. So there is an extra payroll. Typically then on that payroll, there are no like miscellaneous deductions taken.
Okay,
If people want their HSA still taken out of that one, they can let me know. Otherwise, there won't be any voluntary deductions taken out of that pay.
I will find out and send you an email to that.
Okay. And money in the fire department is getting very tight. I have a payroll that I'll be turning in this week, and then we're going to have that other one at the end of the month. So if you guys can authorize me to make any necessary changes, and it possibly includes amending appropriations, because we may need to take at least that last payroll out of the EMS fund instead of the fire fund.
The appropriations are getting tight or the cash?
And the cash isn't getting, it's
Appropriated money?
the fire department's money's getting tight and their appropriations are getting tight.
Okay, but there's cash.
Yeah.
To do more appropriations.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah. But like I may need to switch that last payroll over to EMS instead of taking it out of
Makes
fire.
sense because we didn't figure
So,
that last 27 payroll.
and
I'm
then,
gonna make resolution
Oh,
82 to authorize Paula to make necessary
budgetary adjustments.
budgetary adjustments. Do I have a second?
second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets, Trustee Hunter,
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't heard anything Fairfield Township on that contract. Per the contract, that second payment, $100,000 should be made on or before the 20th of December.
I'll follow up with her. I'll go to the next meeting and follow up.
Okay. And I did have on my list about the 54,000 for the HSA. You took care of that, and about the attorneys. So I guess that's pretty much on my list.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm pretty proud that we're on the ball with that HSA to get that done and out of the way. As much of a headache as the last one was. Okay. Anything else for Paula? Okay. I think you're new to our meetings,
I am new to your meeting.
and if you have something you would like to bring up,
We do, yes.
okay, we normally have speaker sheets that we fill out. But since you're new, you didn't know that. If you want to state your name and,
My name is Angie Carpenter and I live in London, Ohio. I actually live in Deer Run Township. And we're here to speak to you about the biodigester that's going in out in Madison County. I know that there's a lot of questions, and I have spoken with Chief Whiting on the phone once and told him that I would be here, but I just wanted to introduce ourselves. We are a group, this is just a small representative of our core group that is trying to get as much information and actually kind of trying to shut it down as much as we possibly can. And we had heard that you might have some questions. I actually have a letter that you sent to our county commissioners. I just wanted to make sure that they had either answered your questions or was able to answer your questions. We have some information for you to give to you about what biodigesters are, a little bit about Vanguard and some of their practices or lack of there. Ask you to possibly write a resolution against the biodigester, since you're going to be protecting our area if and when, or I should say when it explodes. We're gonna have huge concerns about that. As in your letter that you wrote to our county commissioners and Fairfield County trustees, there's going to be an increase of traffic, hazardous materials, those types of things. That is all very true. We are having some issues with getting some information out of Vanguard. They are not being very forthcoming. We have sent them numerous letters asking questions about products, byproducts, concerns, those types of things, and they're not answering. So just kind of wanted to have an open dialogue. If there's something, questions, concerns, if there's any information that we can give to you, we're more than happy to do that. And as I told Chief Penny, I have extensive experience in training with firefighters and EMS. So that is like my area of expertise. And so that is my biggest concern as far as what's going to happen to the community. Yeah. We're willing to work with you in any way.
Did we just send a letter? Make that a resolution?
Yes.
I thought
it?
he thought that was a resolution.
I didn't get a copy of it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we got was that you were concerned. You wrote it October 22nd. It was a concern. Rainey didn't sign it because we were told she didn't have enough information to make a determination about the biodigester.
Yeah.
We didn't make a resolution.
I thought that letter is our resolution.
Oh, it is your resolution.
I'm
It was all done at the same time.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Oh, I was saying, I don't know if I have my notes in the car from that meeting. It might have been a resolution to send a letter. Kind of stated that way, because a letter isn't a resolution, but you remember?
I think they did it as we're sending the letter and we're in opposition to it. It was kind of like a combined.
It says we're concerned. There's nothing that says you're opposed or there's opposition to it. It's all we're concerned. And a lot of stuff in this letter that was written to the township and the commissioner, they have no, and I talked to Ed about the truck traffic. We found out, we discovered with taking the amount that this thing's going to be open, amount of trucks are going to be going back. It's every 13 and a half minutes. Trucks are going to be going back and forth between here, past the elementary school and everything, around Big Darby and all that. And so we're concerned about the road. And I was told by Ed that we can't stop them. They're 3-axle trucks. You can't stop them. You can't. We've got chip and seal roads we're worried about, the destruction of those. And so that was one of the big concerns, the amount of traffic. We're going to be turned into an industrial zone. That was one of the big concerns, is the amount of traffic that's going to just increase because they're going to be open 6 days a week.
So with this, will they be hauling stuff in and hauling stuff out, or do they just haul it in?
No, it's
And
both
burn it?
ways, actually. So there's a couple of questions that we've asked. They will be getting byproducts from several major companies in Columbus, Anheuser-Busch, Pepsi-Cola, and Starbucks, Whole Foods, McDonald's. So they'll be bringing in their byproducts, basically. And then this facility is supposedly big enough to pull an entire truck into and empty those byproducts into this biodigester. Then once it goes through its phase, not only do they bring in those byproducts, they also have to truck in cow manure. And they're legally allowed to truck in human waste as well. We've been told that they will not be doing that, but their contract actually says that they can. So once it's mixed with their, the human waste or the waste from the cows and this bio, whatever they're bringing in, this dump that they're bringing into, it goes through the process and then it goes into a 4-acre pond where it's mixed with the cow manure. So you have this 4-acre poop pond, basically.
Like an open,
Supposedly there's,
Covered.
it's supposed to be covered, but this is the first time that they've ever done this big of a facility. And then 4 times a year, this pond is supposed to be emptied onto fields someplace around this area. That's the farmer's responsibility to empty this pond 4 times a year. So that is going to be more trucks trucking that out. The byproduct from all of this biodigest is that a couple of things. One is natural, or is gas, and one is a jet fuel. We've been told that now that they're thinking about having jet fuel. They can truck it out of there in a truck, or they can make a pipeline that connects to a natural gas line. At this time, we are trying to block that because if they get that, then they become a public utility, and it circumvents all of the townships' abilities to block it in any way because they're a public utility. Therefore, our townships can't regulate it. You can't regulate it. Our township can't regulate it. Our county commissioners can't regulate it. They become untouchable, basically. So they know how to get around our Ohio laws. There's currently a law, the House Bill 194, that is, we're hoping it will be signed into a law that will stop this type of biodigester. There are already a couple of biodigesters in Madison County, but they're at a very small scale. They're typically in cow farmers. And in that capacity, they're really a good thing. It's a circle that the farmer can feed his, fertilize his farm in order to feed his cows. It's a circle. But this isn't that. This is an actual commercial facility that's going to be taking in things and producing gases that are that can explode. Now they tell us they can't explode, but we have a list here for you of explosions of these in the United States and actually around the country, or around the world. On top of that, Ohio EPA, as lovely as we all know that they are, these types of facilities are self-reporting. And Vanguard has in the past been fined over $600,000 in one incident, another $6,500 in another, because they didn't self-report in a timely manner. In one case, they were including emissions of toxic gas for more than 88 days around at one of these facilities. There's no way for us, our commissioners, to really monitor that because they self-report to the EPA if they become a public utility. So that's what we're trying to block right now. But it's also important to us that you all know, because you're going to be protecting us out there. And we already know that that's an increased liability for all of you. And at any time, you could say, well, we're done with, taking care of your community because we don't have our own fire and EMS out there. And that it increases our exposure to like what happens when there is an explosion out there. Now, I do know that all around the surrounding areas will they will obviously respond in an emergency like that. But at this particular time, we look to you to protect us and help us out there. And we appreciate that. And we want you to know that we appreciate that. We don't want that to go away. Definitely don't want that to go. So.
The list of accidents I have are from 2018 up to 2024. A methane gas explosion, hydrogen sulfide, biodigester malfunctions, an explosion to release of toxic gases. So there's a lot of things that I think this fire department is going to have to be prepared to do or be aware of. There was even a case of a diver who drowned, who died, was fixing a cable or something in the slurry, and he died. So there's so many things that could potentially happen. I mean, it's not 100% of the time obvious, but there are accidents yearly in these things. So I brought a list of them for your records so you guys can examine it and learn about it. This is not something I ever wanted to learn about, and I doubt you guys want that on your plate either, but it's coming our way. They're using ferric chloride. So I got a breakdown of that. I got a breakdown of what the biogas is, of the accidents that have happened to be potentially prepared for. The things that we have asked Vanguard to respond to, which they have not. And I sent the ones to you guys. You guys got the letter from me. I'm Sandra Thomas. You got the letter from me, and I cut and pasted the things that I felt were pertinent as far as the road, the use of the road and everything. I sent you some of those, but here's the complete list that that we asked them. They've not responded to us. This is the press release that we've given to a lot of news stations. We finally got NBC4 to do a story on it. If you're interested, you can look it up. It's NBC4. Isabel Clary did the report on it. She did a really good job of it. And then I've got some information in here about the Vermont, where they were not self-reporting and they were getting fines and stuff because of the gases, because of the toxic things that are going up, and just the nonsense that happens with these things. And then there is a group called SRAP we partnered with. They've done a lot of extensive research on the biodigesters. Got a copy of that for you, but also too, I put in a resolution of our Fairfield Township. They're against it, and so is the commissioners in Madison County. So I've got all the stuff to give you, and if you want to go to sleep, if you want to take a nap, you might want to read through it, but it just, we felt that the information about the gases that you guys would potentially have to deal with, should we have to call you for help, you're going to have to know about this stuff. You're going to have to, you know, understand what these gases do. But my husband told me if it blows, we're dead anyways. It doesn't matter. So isn't that lovely?
How far along are they with this project?
They're
Like-
moving at lightning speed.
Well, they got quite a bit of opposition from all the townships in Madison County. They've all signed a resolution. So they've kind of, I don't want to say backed off a little bit. There's nothing legally at this particular time that we can do as far as getting an injunction against them, because they have to actually apply for the permits through the EPA. Now, they did apply for a water permit through the EPA, and that was denied. We do know that. Now they've applied for the air quality, and I'm going to be really frank here. We did find out that a lot of the money that is coming to support these kinds of biodigesters is coming from the Green New Bill and the Inflation Reduction Act. And so there are a lot of grants coming down, and they're pushing it through. Again, we're trying to stop it by not allowing them to become a public utility. If they were denied that public utility, then our commissioners and our township trustees are ready to step in and say, get out. So we're hoping that that's going to happen. The EPA has allowed them to do some drilling to look at like the water and how far the water and stuff is. We do understand now that it is located on a, is that called? Aquifer. Yeah, an aquifer. So we're hoping that that's going to stop them now, because you can't build on that. Even our trustees have said we wouldn't even let a house be built there, because it's not property that's really viable for that. So there's a lot of things that haven't come to the forefront because they are very quiet. They did a lot of quiet stuff in behind, like they signed the contract with the farmer before they even went to our trustees.
Are they leasing it, or did they purchase the property?
Say they leased it, say they had the farmer put it into an LLC, and then they leased the property from him. One of the questions that I asked, just like a lot of big companies do, they'll build a building, and then as soon as the building is built, within a year, they sell the building to a management company, and then they lease it back, and then they run their company out of there. And I asked if that was going to happen, because there are several incidents where the leasing company that owns the property after it's leased out or that they've sold it to, they weren't keeping up on that property. And so that's why there were disasters in those areas, and they have refused to answer that question. They continue to tell us that, no, we're going to be running this property, we're going to be running this facility. And I said, well, you can run the facility, absolutely, but that doesn't mean that you're going to own the facility and that you have to keep up the maintenance and stuff on it. When you talk about this pond, it is a 24-foot pond that is that goes down 24 feet, and then it's covered with concrete, and then a liner, like a pool liner. And who knows if that's gonna break, tear, what does it look like as far as, wear and tear for winter, summer, those types of things? How do they check that? We know that they have divers that go down there to check those types of things, but then if there was a diver that died, then what happens with the fire department? Do they get special training? We've asked them what kind of safety mechanisms they have for us, because we don't have any kind of water out there as far as like hydrants. And they said, oh, we didn't think about that. We'll put a water truck out there. Okay, but who's gonna run that water truck when there's nobody there in your facility from 8 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning? Like, are we just on our own out there? Like, what do we do? So they won't answer those questions for us. They won't answer them for our county commissioners. They won't answer them for our trustees either. There's a lot. There's a lot.
See, I told you it's more than you wanted to know. It's ruined my Christmas.
Thank you for coming here and
Thank you for listening to us.
passing on information.
Well,
And
who would I give
bringing-
this to?
How about if you give that to the fire chief?
Okay.
I think I printed off probably half of that when we wrote the letter.
Yeah, some of it is what I sent you. The other part of it, like the breakdown of the gas and
Angie.
stuff, accidents, I think.
It's like, our kids.
It's not what I
I
attached.
know, okay, I didn't know her. I kept staring at you. You look familiar.
She said that about you.
Yep.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
bringing the
Listening.
information.
We're very concerned about those. And if you guys want to contact any of your legislators, that's what we're doing. We're contacting Brian Stewart, Mike Carey. I've written JD Vance. Don't forget about Ohio defund the Inflation Reduction Act. We need everybody to help, because this isn't just about Madison County. It's about the state of Ohio. Vanguard has targeted us, and they've said, you guys it's too easy. We go around all your laws. They won't go to California and put them there because they're so strict. But Ohio, the state took away the township's ability to do anything. In our township, they can't do anything. The commissioners can't do anything. So we're fighting it, like Angie was saying, with we're talking to people who have the ability to say no to the gas line going through, because we know where they're gonna take the gas line. And we're talking to the landowners and say, please don't allow Vanguard to hook into this. Please don't, And so we're trying to do what we can, but the big thing is to get the legislators involved, because they took our local ability to stop these things away. So if you've got, who Brian Stewart is, if you know who Mike Carey is, please write them and tell them, you gotta stop this. This has gotta stop. It's just in the most inappropriate place, next to a bike path, 1,000 feet to residential. Like, there's 15 houses, or my road, we're directly in front of it, Wilson Road. There's several houses there. It's just in an inappropriate spot. It needs to be on a dairy farm, needs to be away, and needs to be not where local residents are affected. We're going to turn into an industrial zone. We're a rural area. It's going to be, with the amount of traffic that's coming through, it's never going to end. Our little quiet area is going to not be quiet anymore.
Our trustees belong, and I believe all the trustees throughout Ohio belong to like a group of Ohio trustees. And I know that our trustees wrote to like that overall arching group and voiced their concerns, because there were a lot of counties out there. We've already found 4 other places where they like kind of snuck in, and they weren't aware, because they could get around all of our laws. These trustees didn't even know. Our trustees got a 1-day notice, and that's all we got as far They had already been signing, they signed stuff in May, April and May, and we didn't know until September. We were not notified until September, so it can happen to anybody. It's happening to you because you're connected to us.
Yeah, but second, this team. Not be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else, or does anybody have any questions for them about the biodigester?
They sent me a lot of information ahead of time, so I have some of that information. I'm trying to digest it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If there's any more information or you have any questions, we try to give you like the highlights of it, but we have some in-depth stuff too.
Yeah. And they say it's anaerobic, it's without oxygen, but it doesn't mean it can't blow. And that's really odd. The Ohio Farm Bureau and the EPA, bless their hearts, are so benign about this, and they act like, well, we're just gonna put this waste together with this food, and we're gonna mix it all up and create gas. And it's anaerobic, so it's without oxygen, but those can explode too. So they're missing the things that can possibly happen, the stuff that we're worried about that could potentially happen. If you look at that one report, there's been an accident once a year since 2018, up to 2024. They happen. And I don't think anybody's prepared for what's coming down the pipe.
Phone location certainly creates a problem, big problem too. Yeah.
Is this your, like, this is 1 day crew, like this is your like day, whatever crew?
Yes.
This is all you have. Yeah, that's not good. It's sad. It's sad. And that's what's happening to our rural, like, we just don't have the resources. Look what happened with the train derailment. Those people walked away and left that poor community. And it's not gonna be just our community, it's gonna be everybody's community, so. We'll stop talking now, sorry.
Talk about this all night. There's so much information.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for letting us know.
And I think that maybe I should make a motion that we're going to make Monday, December 30th at 7 PM, a special meeting. And then if anything comes up from then till now, we can bring it up then. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Hunter,
Yes.
trustee Good.
Yes.
And if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion.
I have one thing I forgot. I just want to clarify this because we're going to do that grant and the total's going to be almost $4,600. And I can't remember, I need prior approval for that amount of money. I think we had talked about that before.
That's the AEDs, is that the ones you're talking about?
What's that?
The
Yeah,
AEDs?
yes, yeah, because it's going to be, we're getting state grant money from that. I can't remember on that amount. Do you?
No, not offhand, but we might as well make it a resolution and then we're covered.
Okay, it was for $4,538.36 right now.
Hold on, say that again. I'm running out of space.
Me too.
Okay,
$4,538.36, and that'll be to Stryker, STRYKER products. Would be our maximum amount. We're still negotiating.
that you're spending out of the grant money.
Yes, it'll be all grant money.
And I'll make resolution 83 to spend no more than $4,538.36.
Yes,
To Stryker Production for products.
Yeah.
For
2 automatic AEDs.
2 AEDs. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Hunter,
Yes.
trustee Good.
Yes.
Okay, now I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Hunter,
Yes.
trustee Good.
Yes.
that information that she gave you, can I get that and make a copy of that?